Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, May 30th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, we are looking at NVTS. Been tracking this one on a very daily basis as it's been a very explosive stock. And now it has continued to pull back here. So on that note, this level that I've talked about previously, that red line, remains a very key level. Stubborn, pretty nasty move this morning. The price broke above here. Now, again, this is all a matter of perspective. If you're a scalper, then that distance right there was plenty of room for you to scalp out, buy, let it go up, scalp out. No problem for you. With that being said, for the people that chose a strategy of wanting, and we're looking for much more of a bigger breakout, well, they got totally faked out and then had it roll back over. So that strategy of people, yeah, the chart's looking very disappointing to them. But yeah, that breakout right there, if you're a scalper, could have been a very good trade. But taking a step back and looking at things from the bigger picture point of view, as far as the overarching area of resistance is concerned, it's still all about that red line right there as the main battleground point. In terms of next levels of support, if this pullback continues, let's map this out here. Green for support. Next key level to watch very closely. Going to be, in my opinion, down there right around $4.92. And if the price can't hold above $4.92, then I could see the next potential area of support and next target area being down there right around $4.22. So yes, the overall pullback continues, but we'll see if the price can try to curl back upwards on Friday and get a break up through that resistance trend line. Next one here, HBIO. Absolutely huge volume today for this penny stock. Gotta think a lot of people are watching it, and now we have a couple of very well-defined levels, especially I think from the resistance standpoint. So in no way, shape, or form am I trying to impress you or imply that this is a great discovery right here at 79 cents. I think a lot of people have noticed how this afternoon the price tried to curl back upwards, and then right there at 79 cents, the price ultimately got rejected. So, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. But when a lot of people are watching the same areas and wondering the same thing, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So no such thing as a guarantee, but in my opinion, at least valid to throw out there that if this consolidates more, then comes up there through there, that it's valid to think that, maybe just maybe that break right there could create additional buying pressure. So again, no guarantees, but certainly a valid question to throw out there as a potential scenario. So from a breakout standpoint, in my opinion, that 79 cent mark, very, very important. On the flip side of things, in terms of areas of support, in the near term, it does seem as though we're down here right around the 60 cent mark is a key level. You can see several times the price did come down around there. Right there held strong, and then right there held strong. So if the price does pull back, again, no guarantees that it will bounce off 60 cents. But if you were to tell me that you're thinking you want to buy at 60 and try to play some sort of bounce, I wouldn't call you crazy at all. I totally see the logic that you're using. But anyway, look at it. Big volume today, very explosive move here. So from resistance standpoint, keep an eye on 79. As an interesting support standpoint, right there at 60. Next one here is ZEO, and we are looking at a very, very solid final 30 minutes. And like I said, that's why I like to do these when the markets are still open, because we can capture some of this movement right here. So as I speak, this thing is looking very solid, and it's coming right up here to the key area of resistance, and there's no fancy logic behind this other than the fact that that's just simply where the party eventually stopped earlier on in the day. So the party was booming. Party did stop right here. But again, as I speak right now, you can see this candle is getting closer and closer. So maybe, just maybe, it can break through $3.33. And right now, the market still is open for another 15 minutes. So if by the time you're watching this and you're saying, wait, Clay, I'm looking at the chart, the price is well above $3.33. Well, that tells you that this breakout move has continued and gotten that much stronger. And if the price is above here, well, then you get to ask yourself a very exciting question. Is this the start of something even bigger? Is what the start? Well, the breakout the start. Now, right now, you don't get to ask yourself that question because it hasn't quite broken out. But if it does get through there, then yeah, you can ask yourself, all right, it's broken out. Is it the start of something even bigger? So keep your eye on that dynamic. And then as far as areas of support are concerned, from a trend line standpoint, I think that level makes some sense to keep an eye on. And then if you want to just convert this into an overall pattern, let's keep it the same color real quick. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big upwards move right there. For you golfers, make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. We're looking at a bull pennant pattern. But anyway, look at it. Great volume today, great movement. So yeah, let's see if the price can indeed break above 333. Next one here, HCTI, another one of these penny stocks with a whole lot of volume on it today. So let's map out some of these key levels. And I think an area that a lot of people have drawn is that trend line right there. So going back to that whole idea of those self-fulfilling prophecies, I think a lot of people have drawn that level. Therefore, a lot of people are watching it. Therefore, it doesn't guarantee anything, but it does make it plausible to think that maybe, just maybe, any sort of movement back up to this area could indeed create upside buying pressure. So keep it on that level if you like to play breakouts. From the pullback standpoint, if the price does pull back more, then a key level to watch in my mind is going to be right down there around the 0082 mark. So keep a close eye on that if there is any sort of bigger pullback. But in my opinion, the most interesting dynamic is all about, can the price consolidate out and then eventually get the break up through that level right there. But no doubt about it, massive volume today. Let's see if that transitions into Friday and if it can keep up the high amounts of liquidity here. Next one here, NVIDIA, very, very impressive day after the earnings were released. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that line right there and make our first update. And that update is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And that's what we have right here as the price pulls back, but it is still up above 137.50. And that's a level that I'd say is pretty important, because what you don't want to see happening is for the price to fall back inside of that channel that it just broke out of. So if you've been watching past videos, you know that I've been talking about this sideways channel here. And as now the price is broken outside of the channel. So if the price comes down here and does something like this and then heads back up, well, at least that at that point, the price is bounced off of the top of the channel. But if the price comes down, does that mean that the entire chart's destroyed? It doesn't. But does that mean that this whole movement was basically false because this breakout has now fallen right back to where it started? Yeah, that's what that would be implying. So for that reason, 137.50, I'd say, is a very important level of support. If the price does try to head back upwards, then a pretty interesting trend line here can be drawn that I would keep a close eye on. But as of right now, the chart looks just fine. Now, if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart's a train wreck. But assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, even with the pullback today, the overall trend still plenty in the bull's favor. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description area you can get signed up with, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage that you can use. Now, one special note, it is a genuine live event, so maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening, maybe you're watching this Friday morning. Go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay, and then you can watch it at your earliest convenience. But if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up, and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one, we're looking at LCID, and a very rough day today. Had started off and was, trying to make some movement over the past few days, but unfortunately today, with that breakdown, it really picked up a lot of downside pressure. So back to the drawing board in many senses. And right now, to give some credit's due, the price at least does have somewhat of an upwards angle to it right here. So that is, like I said, trying to look at the glasses at least half full here. But the other thing you have to keep in mind is even with that right there, when we consider the area of resistance right there, whoops. There we go, right there. Let me make this a little more proportional. And then we turn this into an overall pattern. So earlier I talked about a bull pennant, and now we are talking about a bear pennant. That's just an upside down pennant pattern. So again, I'll put the golf hole up here. So just like I said, upside down pennant. Not just because something's a bullish pattern does not mean it's going to go up. Same is true here. Just because this is a bearish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed it's going to go down. But would anybody be shocked if this thing all of a sudden got more continuation? No, I don't think anybody would be shocked by that. So again, not guaranteed to happen, but certainly more of a valid question to throw out there. So yeah, it's trying to bounce upwards. Yeah, there is this little bit of an upwards trend here, but keep in mind that is just part of a bigger bear pennant pattern. Next one here, ALZN, and this is where things get a little tricky because it's all about perspective. Day traders, flippers, scalpers, anybody that bought right there or bought the dip right there or, try to buy right there and your plan was to buy and sell within, 7 minutes. From that standpoint, yeah, things are looking very rough because clearly there is a very big pullback within, where the price started on the day. But if you were just looking and you enjoy playing those bigger, deeper pullbacks, then there are certainly some interesting opportunities here, as you have a couple of key moving averages down here, that pink line being the 200 period moving average, the purple line being the 50 period moving average, both those basically valued at 415. Now, I'm not saying that for sure guaranteed it's going to bounce from there, but again, would I or would anybody else accuse you of just buying at a random spot on a pullback? No, I'd assume people would say, oh, I see what you're doing. You're buying at some key moving averages. So doesn't mean that it'll work. That's why risk management matters, but I can see the logic right there. Another thing to consider moving forward is this pattern that is formed. So there is our area of resistance. There is our area of support. And this would actually be what I'd consider a falling wedge pattern, which is actually a bullish pattern. Rising wedges are bearish, but falling wedges are bullish. So yeah, maybe, just maybe, this thing comes down here, gets the bounce off here, and then gets the break back in the upwards direction. So there's certainly several ways you could look at this one right here. But at the end of the day, it's a popular price range down below $10. It's got a whole lot of volume, so we'll see what happens with it. Next one, SOXL, and same general idea, so I'm going to go through a little quicker. Day traders, flippers, scalpers, that bought right there, wanted to buy and sell within 3.2 seconds. Yes, for them, things are not looking so good with the pullback. But if you do like the pullback, notice right where this thing found some support. Right here at the pink line and the 200, the pink line being the 200 period moving average, purple line being the 50 period. No, that doesn't mean that it'll continue to bounce or that it's always guaranteed to bounce there. But again, there's logic behind, because those a lot of people are watching those moving averages. So as I mentioned earlier, even if you just want to call that a self-fulfilling prophecy, well then so be it. But point here being is that yes, there was a bigger pullback today, but from the bigger picture, the price is still trending upwards, and as long as the price maintains above that purple line at minimum, then that does imply the price is building higher bases, and that's what you want to see for a healthy looking uptrending chart. If the price does try to curl back upwards, then the key area of resistance in my mind that stands out right now that'll need to be pushed back above right here around $17.60. So yeah, a gap and trap this morning, no doubt about it. Both in the broader context of looking at multiple days, there is still that uptrend, and we'll see if that can remain intact here as we head into Friday. Next one, DNN. Talked about this one in the previous video, mapped out this pattern right here, and unfortunately the price came down here, broke to the bottom part of the pattern, and you can see that definitely gave the bears some more power to the downside. So yes, a bearish breakdown of that area, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of these levels as they serve their purpose for now. And if there is any sort of attempted bounce backwards in the upward direction, key battleground now, in my opinion, from the resistance standpoint, is going to be that purple line, that 50 period moving average, currently valued at $1.67, so keep an eye on that. And I don't want to call it a do or die support, but I'd certainly consider it a very, very important support. If this pullback continues, then this area down here, the pink line, which you now know is that 200 period moving average right now valued at $1.54, I would say very, very important level. Again, do or die, I'm not going to say that, but if the price were to come down here and then break down below it, what would that be doing to the price at that point in time? That would quite literally be essentially putting the price basically right back to where this big old move started. I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make great moves and then go back to where they started, not exactly a sign of genuine power. So again, I'm not saying that's what's going to occur, but that's why in my mind that $1.54, a pretty important level of support moving into Friday. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and not a whole lot to report, assuming you've watched past videos, but if you have, you know that we've been talking about kind of this new little range that's forming. Top of the range right up here at 363.80, and you can see that once again today, it hasn't been a perfectly clean range where it the price gets perfectly rejected off it, but you can see here, started off, acted like it wanted to be strong, but then it was almost just like, this is got a magnet where it drew the price back down, and then just got stuck right around this area. Right there, it did get just flat out rejected by it. But point here being is that 363.80, a very tricky level, because it's not a problem of breaking above it. The price has broken above it several times, but the problem, the tricky part becomes, okay, yeah, it's broken above the level, but is the price actually going to be able to stay above the level? And that's a very tricky aspect. So moving forward, 363.80, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a good thing, and it's a bullish thing if the price pushes up above it, but I just want to get overly excited about it because you still got to have in the back of your mind, is this actually a true breakout or not? On the flip side of things, as far as supports, nothing has been violated there. The price is still doing a great job of staying above the uptrending 50 period moving average. Price is still above the 352.50 mark. So from the support side of things, I don't see anything that's even close to being a red flag right now. Now, if the price crashes through both those areas of support, okay, that conversation starts to change. But as of right now, even with the pullback, from an overarching standpoint, the drift is still plenty in the upwards direction. So that wraps up the top 10 stocks. Again, if you like what you saw here, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. It'll be this evening, Thursday, May 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, so I hope to see you there. But again, if you cannot make it live for whatever reason, go ahead and send me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link so that you can watch it at your earliest convenience. So definitely get signed up for it. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, make sure you hit that like button. And also subscribe and turn on notifications. I have been live streaming, so if you're interested in watching me trade live, come ask me questions, just interact with me in a live way, then yeah, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you are notified when I do go live and start a live stream. So definitely do that. But thanks again for watching, and once more, make sure to get signed up for the free class. And if you can't make it, make sure to drop me an email.